So going back in time a little bit, it was one of my more popular videos over on the Lambdog channel prior to me pulling firearm content down from there. But I was making this video about the Ruger Vaquero, and the Ruger Vaquero, which is a modern replica made by Ruger of the Colt Single Action Army, has some modern safety features such as a transfer bar and all this other shit. And I had posed the question to the audience because it's available in both the configurations, the current configurations, because you can't get like an ultra long barrel one anymore, new, because they made one that had a longer than 5.5, so it goes like 5.5, I want to say 4, and the 4-inch one, whatever the measurement is where the barrel, I'd have to look at it and look it up and tell you for sure, but the barrel comes to the end of the ejector pawl channel. The 5.5, it extends a little bit past it. They made one that, for the life of me, I can't get my hands on, that I like the best, and I think I'd want it in 45 long Colt and in blue steel with, I want to say it's like the Cattleman or something like that. It's like a 10.5 inch barrel in 45 long Colt in Ruger Vaquero. That's in lieu of a Colt Single Action Army. I'd love to have the real thing, I'd love to have the real thing, but I have such weird respect for it. It's similar to this particular M1 Garand, that I love it. I love the rifle, but I can't bring myself to shoot it. I love it so much because it is United States Army refurbished for CMP, and I can't bring myself to shoot it. As dorky as it sounds, I mean, it's not numbers matching, but it's one of the ones where, not to talk about the M1, but it's one of the ones where it's like a mix of excellent parts put together. And I can't bring myself to shoot it. I think, but I might be getting a little old for that shit. Because I think that's a little different story than a Colt Single Action Army. Because a Colt Single Action Army would be genuinely old. I think maybe with the M1, if it was for a special occasion, like if I went to a shooting match with my dad, I think that'd be cool. That'd be a cool thing to bring it to, and be like, maybe that'd be the time that I shoot it. Like, hey, this is only time I've ever shot it was when I was with my dad. Blah blah blah. I think that'd be pretty neat. But I don't know if I'd get that with the. I wouldn't have the same sentiment with a Colt Single Action Army, short of my introduction to handguns, and maybe even guns in general, was the day that I came home from school. I was so young, but this is in my memorable years. You get to a certain age and you're in your memorable years. And I opened the door. I had walked back to the house from the bus, and opened the door and immediately could smell the Hoppies. Hoppies, what is it? Hoppies number 7. And then there's my dad at the table. He's got the Ruger Blackhawk, and Super Blackhawk? No, it's a black. Super Blackhawk's 44 Magnum, Blackhawk's 357. It's a 357 Blackhawk, so that's single action, 6.5 inch barrel, adjustable sights. But that is my endearment to single action revolvers. But then that evolved into the Colt Single Action Army, which I refer to as the Colt 45, which I later on also equated Colt 45 not only to the sweet, sweet brown women who like malt liquor, but also the 1911, and my love for the 1911 is eternal. I got this shitty El Cheapo 1911 that man, it's just the handgun I grab, and it's even more so. And I got a M3, I think it's the M3. I got the M3 shoulder holster. It's like a tanker's shoulder holster for that 1911, and it's stamped US. So I'll like throw that bitch on there, and it's turned into a bit of a pain in the ass because it actually got me hung up. I was during the hurricane or after the hurricane, we were messing around with the tree stands. I had that holster on, and the pistol actually got hung up to where I had to lean back, and a tree had fallen on the tree stand, and when I leaned back, the whole thing started to like tilt back on me. So it actually made me a little bit nervous, which is an amazing sensation. I don't feel that way all that often, but long story short with that was went all the way back to camp, got my damn tree harness on, then went to the tree harness, then tied off, then freaking, and I'm not talking tied off like a stripper, tied off to the tree, and then hit the old chainsaw to get that fixed up. But man, I want to hear somebody else's handgun stories, because I don't feel that gun channels are what they used to be. And no offense to Pops, I love your content that you're putting up with the USPCA matches. That's really cool. But we used to have this thing back when we had what the hell was that? You used to have YouTube groups, and we had like the tactical and shooting groups, and we had the barbecue guns. And man, any of y'all listening to this got a barbecue gun channel? You're going to a buddy's barbecue, but you're shooting people. You're not shooting people, but you're gun people. And so you bring this thing, and you got a story. You got Grandpa's gun, you know? Like, I know a guy. Let me give you an example of a story I'd like to hear. I may know a guy, and I heard about a guy on Minecraft that roughed up a New York City transit cop down on the subway and actually took his 38, his police issue 38. And every once in a while, this guy I know is able to bring that thing to a range. And it's the, was it the Smith & Wesson, is it a Model 10? It might be a Model 10. And from what this guy tells me, this thing is just smooth as fucking silk. And this guy, what happened was, this guy I know, his dad had a friend who worked for a place where they were able to check numbers, and they were actually able to get some history on this thing. So unfortunately, he hasn't been able to take that thing out in a very long time. And it's a shame. It's a shame. But to know that it's somewhere might make some of you feel better. Just like in this world of ammunition shortages and, oh my God, are they going to take our whatever? You know, there's like things made in World War II that are essentially pipes and things and springs, and, you know, I'm just going to say it. An open bolt design is so much simpler than a closed bolt trigger group. That is all. And in payment for those stupid fucking stories, I'd like to hear something. I like, this other guy told me a story about another guy that had a thing that he brought it out into the woods, and they were shooting it, and then a guy came out and said, listen, this is bad. How about you just lean it up against the tree and walk away? That was a good story. And that story has since inspired me, and it makes me think back to those times. because as much as I like Garand Thumb, as much as I like Brandon Herrera, as much as Demolition Ranch, those are great guys, but to watch a 1 hour gun commercial is a different story. Brandon's a little bit better because he pulls out the old shit, but it's still more of a look what I got kind of thing, similar to he's like a chubby short Hickok 45 with some muscles on him is Brandon, but but I don't know where Hickok stands on the AK-47. I don't really give a shit either. All right, that's all for real this time. Catch y'all later.